Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, this is the second video for this particular chapter on cost, volume and profit analysis. Okay, so for this video, we're going to look at the differences between absorption costing and variable costing. Okay, what are the costs that we're going to include, okay, under these two different methods. And then we're going to look at the format of statement of profit and loss under both methods. Okay, before we look at the format, okay, for both methods, okay, first we're going to look at what are the costs that we're going to include under both methods. Okay, for absorption costing, in order for us to calculate the cost of goods that we manufacture, that we produce, so what are the product costs that we're going to include? So we're going to include all the cost elements that you have learned in the last chapter. So under absorption costing, we are going to include all product costs. So all product costs include direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. Manufacturing overhead include variable and fixed. Okay, so all cost elements will be included in the calculation of product cost under absorption costing. But under variable costing, in order to calculate product cost, we include the three elements, but then, okay, for the manufacturing overhead, we include only variable manufacturing overhead. We exclude fixed manufacturing overhead. So therefore, okay, the calculation of product cost actually include direct material, direct labor, which are variable, and variable manufacturing overhead only. Okay, so those are the differences. Okay. So we move on to the format for SOPL. Okay, format for SOPL. Okay, first we're going to look at the absorption costing. Under absorption costing, okay, SOPL, of course, we start with sales. Okay, you transfer the sales amount. Then you minus the cost of goods sold. So how to calculate cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold starts with beginning inventory. Then we add with COGM, cost of goods manufactured. So how to calculate this cost of goods manufactured under absorption costing? Okay, so under absorption costing, okay, we include direct material, direct labor, and MOH. Direct material is variable. Direct labor also variable cost. MOH, we include both fixed and variable costs. So that is the calculation of COGM under absorption costing. Okay, so all included here. The COGM. Okay. The beginning inventory plus COGM, we get goods available for sale. Then we minus the ending inventory. So the cost of your inventory is the same as the cost of goods manufactured, because you manufactured some quantities and then some that have been sold, some not yet sold. Okay, so the balance of the inventory is what we call ending inventory. So ending inventory also incur the same cost as what you have transferred to COGM. Okay, then sales minus COGS, that is your gross profit. Okay, then after, okay, we have found the gross profit. So gross profit minus all the other expenses, okay, which are the period costs. Okay, so minus all variable selling and admin, or fixed selling and admin. So all the other costs here will be transferred under operating expense. Then gross profit minus operating expense, that is our net income. So that is the format for statement of profit and loss under absorption costing. Okay. Now compare with, okay, the format of statement of profit and loss under variable costing. Okay, under variable costing, of course, we're going to start with sales as usual, but we minus only the total variable cost here. Okay, so we separate the variable and the fixed cost. Okay, so how to calculate variable cost? Okay, first is the beginning inventory if you have, plus the COGM. So how to calculate this COGM under variable cost? So the calculation of COGM. COGM under variable cost include direct material, variable, direct labor, also variable cost, but we take only variable manufacturing overhead. Okay? So careful, under variable, we take all the variable costs. Compare with the calculation of COGM under absorption. We take direct material variable, direct labor variable, but MOH, we take all fixed and variable. Okay? Okay, so this COGM calculation under variable, we take all variable production costs only. Then we get cost of goods available for sale. We minus the ending inventory. So ending inventory here also, okay, will have the same cost as COGM just now. Meaning ending inventory only take the variable production costs as their cost for the ending inventory. Okay, then we minus the ending inventory, we get variable cost of goods sold. Then we take, since this is the variable cost section, then we take all the other variable costs that is given to us. So here we have variable selling and admin. So we total up, that is our total variable cost. So sales, total sales, minus total variable cost, that is your contribution margin. Okay, so this is the contribution margin. So contribution margin formula is sales minus total variable cost. Okay, then we minus all the fixed costs. Okay, all the fixed costs. So whatever fixed costs, okay, that is given to us, okay, we transfer it here. So here we have fixed factory or manufacturing overhead, MOH, fixed selling and admin expense. So we total out. So contribution margin minus fixed costs. Okay, so that is our net income. Okay, so that is variable costing statement of profit and loss. Okay, so by now you know the difference between absorption and variable costing SOPL. Okay, the main difference is the calculation of COGM, okay, under variable and absorption, and also the calculation of the cost for the ending inventory. And the variable cost, since variable costing include all the variable costs under variable cost section, and then all the fixed costs here. Okay, so like you have two different sections here for the variable and then for the fixed. But under absorption, okay, for the COGM, they include all, okay, variable and fixed production costs. And then here, okay, they include other, they transfer other expense. Okay, either it is variable or fixed, as long as, okay, it is not directly actually involved in the production of the goods. Okay. And then from the explanation just now, from the format, okay, we can know that absorption costing and variable costing will produce a different net income when businesses have any unsold inventories or closing inventories at the end of the fiscal year. Okay, why? Because under absorption costing, unsold inventories or the closing inventories will carry the fixed cost that is associated with the unsold units to the next fiscal year. For example here, under absorption costing, in the calculation of COGM and also the calculation of the cost of the ending inventory, you include just now direct material, direct labor, and variable and fixed MOH. You include fixed MOH here. But what happened to the variable? You include only variable, direct material, direct labor, and MOH. You do not include the fixed MOH in the calculation of COGM and the ending inventory. So that's why you're going to have different ending inventory amount under variable costing and also under absorption costing. Okay. So under absorption costing, closing inventories will carry the fixed cost. Under variable, no fixed cost. So absorption will carry the fixed cost that is associated with the closing inventories to the next fiscal year. Okay. So different amount of closing inventory. So that's why you are going to get different net income later on. Okay. So you are going to see more, or you're going to see in detail when we discuss the answer, okay, for the illustration that you have in your textbook in the next video. Okay, the conclusion for this video is that net income under absorption costing will be higher than variable costing when inventory increases. But net income under variable costing will be higher than absorption costing when inventory decreases. Okay, so that's all for the second part. So I'll see you again in the third part of this chapter. Assalamualaikum.